What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Deep Third. We're back here with you guys. We were off last week. We just want to say happy anniversary to the main man DP and Miss Joe, celebrating another beautiful year of marriage. So a week off, well worth it. But we're back here in front of y'all. We appreciate y'all tuning in. If you're tuning in live, if you catch it after, man, you're gonna miss some hot fire. We're gonna do something a little bit different this week. You guys will get a feel for it as we continue to go through. So just to introduce everybody, my name is Jarrell. We got Big Fade and we got DP. We're gonna let them introduce themselves so you can see their faces. But just letting y'all know, we excited to come to y'all this week.
Go ahead, Fade.
Yeah, so it's
Big
your boy
Fade.
Big Fabe here, one third of the Deep Third podcast. So thank you all for coming out again for episode 14. Very excited to bring you guys some good content this week. So stay tuned for that. And also, just to let you guys know, stick around because we got uh, we have a segment just for you guys
Deep thought.
called Deep Thought. So this segment is for you guys for your any questions, comments, feedback, anything like that. This is for you guys to your opportunity to do that, and that'll be in the last part of the show.
Yes, and I am DP, the one and only. You feel me? Um, Appreciate that, Jarrell. Yes, my wife and I, we just celebrated our 9 years of being married. Nine. So in sign language, that's 9. But uh, but yeah, man. So definitely happy to be back in front of the camera, so that you guys can get some awesome content and hear what we got to say. Um, so as Jarrell stated, we are doing something different. We are going to be trying to go from an hour to 30 minutes of live and uninterrupted uh, sports talk for 30 minutes. Trying to break it down a little bit, shorten it up for you guys so that you guys can pay attention and hear what we got to say. Especially if you are a New England fan, like these two are, you definitely going to want to hear and get schooled and learn something new because he got the U. I'm he got this big old U behind his head, so I'm distracted. But anyways, let's go ahead and go to the first one. So the first topic that we have tonight, man, it is what it, to you, what is the biggest rival? It doesn't have to be any like football, basketball. It can be whatever you want. So what is the biggest rival um, that you would say? Go
Oh
ahead, Jarrell.
man, ah, it's. I mean, there's so many. Um, I think the first part I have to preference as for myself. Um, Not that I'm a product of the moment, but I'm a product of my lifetime. Um, I know the Celtics and Lakers had some epic battles. Um, and then I can say current day. We got the Steelers and Ravens who just played today. But I'm gonna go with one that I kind of remember growing up a little bit, and that's Duke in North Carolina. Um, I know in basketball when those two teams play every year, it's something special. It's something to behold. It's a spectacle. It's a place where people want to flock and people want to go to. And the reason I picked it is I think in college athletics, it's a different beast because you got generational uh, I guess participants as far as dad went to school or grandfather went to the school, dad went to the school, son went to the school, so you grew up rooting for a certain team. And I just think those two programs for the most part have been dominant as a whole. Yeah, they've had some down years. I think right now Duke is probably the better program at this time, but there was a time where UNC was up. And obviously, you can look at the players that have gone through North Carolina, the players that have gone through Duke University. And in my opinion, I think it's the greatest rivalry. Coach K has done what I would say is a magnificent job. I went from being a Duke hater to a Duke lover um, when he took over Team USA. And I just started liking him. I just started liking the way he coached, um, his swagger. I thought before he was just a white dude that didn't want to take anybody except for 4 year players. Because if y'all remember, Mike Krzyzewski did not take those one and dones. He didn't want to do it. And then he coached the USA basketball team and realized, like, I, I, I got to do this. Missing out. And his thing was he wanted to get guys in there that he could build. And by the time, you came out after 4 years, you got a Christian Leitner. Um, but what he was seeing is he was just missing out on so much quality talent. So just seeing when he made that change, um, it was amazing. But I think those two schools, they could be owing whatever, and they go against each other, and you're going to get the other person's best. Um, it's like it's like you're a national champion going into the following year, and you got that bullseye on your back. So for me, UNC and Duke.
Interesting. So for me, this is going to be a little bit different. For me, I'm going to the high school level. And I know not everybody knows every high school, but forget it. I'm finna say Manatee and Southeast. It's the greatest rivalry in sports. Why? I feel that
Hey,
because at the high school level, you have more of an opportunity to be a part of history when it's
True.
a rival of that sort. And so I know generally in probably every county, every city around the world, you have generally one or two schools in that area that are like dominant. And for the longest time for us, that's either been Manatee or Southeast. And I feel that the rivalry is so good because, especially in our area, it's produced so many great athletes. Unfortunately, not a lot
Hmm.
of them, made it, but they've, we know them in the Manatee County lore, so to say, that these people were such great athletes. So, you got McPherson, he comes to mind. You got Sedarian comes to mind. Breon Carnes comes to mind. You had a lot of great guys that came from this area who was a part of that rivalry. Um,
Dante Parker.
okay, Dante Parker. um, but I just feel like rivalries at the high school level because it's you're gonna see this person around town. You're gonna see this person probably at another friend's house or something. So it's your opportunity to put your foot in their butt and be able to talk trash for a year. So I think being able to be a part of that makes it the best rivalry because I know in that game I probably played harder than playoff games, to be completely honest, just because I wanted to be able to talk smack. Dante, when everybody went to go hang out at McDonald's after the game, you wanted to be able
Oh
to
yeah,
go talk some crap. So I'll say that's the biggest rivalry for me. I know it's a little different than what probably y'all expected, but I don't know. That's what I was feeling.
that's good. Yeah,
I mean,
man. Go ahead, Drew.
I was gonna say Fave. I mean, I don't think you're far off. People may not know Manatee, but I mean, in theory, I think that's what makes UNC and Duke that special because they're separated by like 13
Mm-hmm.
miles. You gotta see them boys almost. I'm not saying every day, but you go off campus, you
Yeah.
go see them boys. So you want them bragging rights. So I don't think you're far off. People may not know the team, but people gonna get with that story. Go ahead, Mr. DP.
Oh yeah, and by the way, too, Manatee and Southeast play this Friday. Best believe I'm going to the game. Most of my family went to Southeast where I wanted to go, but I was forced to go to Manatee. and I'm so glad I was forced to go to Manatee. But anyways, um,
Sarasota,
Sarasota, yeah, they trash.
where they at?
But so I kind of almost want to go like a Grambling State versus Southern or FAMU and Bethune, but I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to go a route that it's not a rivalry anymore, but it was a really big one. I'm going to go with Muhammad Ali and
Ooh.
Joe Frazier. So
Ooh.
yes. So not so they don't. I mean, of course. I mean, Muhammad Ali died. I want to say Joe. I think he deceased as well. I think he died as well. But I definitely want to go with them because that was like everybody knows Muhammad Ali. I wasn't around to see it, but if you was around to see it, you always knew he was going to be talking. He was part of one of the biggest trash talkers in the game. And that's why, like, I hate when people say, "Oh, I don't know why people do all that talking." And I love to talk when I play. It's nothing like it. And and especially when you are trying to, when you talk about rivalry, that's what it is. It's a mindset of who can talk the most trash and who can back it up. And then if you talking a whole bunch of trash and you can't back it up, then God bless you because you're gonna get buried. And so that's what I when I think of a rivalry, I think of that. They have four fights, 41 rounds, and every round, you best believe that it kept you on your toes. You didn't know what was gonna happen, who was gonna get knocked out, who was gonna get cut. So that would be my biggest rivalry.
Mm, I
Yeah.
like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. That's some. That's all good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's talk about Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. So, if you guys haven't been noticing, I'm a Bucks fan. Yes, and we doing pretty good right now. With the new addition of Tom Brady, I believe our record is 5-2. Um, y'all two Patriot fans, right? Yeah, that's right. Tom Brady left because they didn't want to pay him money, and he didn't like Belichick. And I think I remember you guys were like, "Oh, Belichick's the man, and Cam's gonna go there and light it up." Um, yes, they are 5. They are 2-5. They just got beat by the Bills today. So my question to you guys. Actually, I got two questions, two in one. Um, who meant more to the Patriots, Tom Brady or Belichick? And then the second question is, who means more to a team, the head coach or the quarterback? Whoever wants to take it first.
I
Go,
mean, Fabe, you okay if
go
I
for it.
sound off real quick? All right, man. All right, all right, all right. All right. So let's not get it twisted here. Let's talk about talent, right? So people gonna say that Tom Brady is doing great. He's on an amazing Bucks team with some amazing talent, and he's showing that he might be 40 some years old, but he can ball. I'm with it. But what I'm gonna go back to is think about how many people, or I should say, how many players opted out for the Patriots before the season even started. I'm gonna start there. So you can't compare Tom Brady's last year with the current team. Kyle Van Noy is no longer a Patriot. Moved on. They have many guys that have moved on financially. They got themselves strapped. Um, he did not and does not have Rob Gronkowski, who was what I would say is one of the outlets. So let's start there. Now I'm gonna go way back to Tom Brady's rookie year. Who is the coach that pulled the trigger to put Tom Brady in, right? I'm not talking about after the injury. Um, I'm talking about when Bledsoe was able to come back. Who kept him in there? One person. One person, and that's Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick runs his team a certain way. And sometimes, listen, if if I got a 360 Magnum and I ain't got the right bullets in there, it ain't gonna fire right. It just ain't gonna happen. No matter what I do, it ain't gonna happen. Bill Belichick unfortunately does not have. I'm not saying the superstar. I'm saying the caliber of player that he needs right now. I think when I was looking up a lot of the money side, I think they got some close to 30 some million dollars wrapped up in those guys that are sitting at home because they opted out of COVID. It is very hard to replace $33 million on the field. In this day and age, it's very hard to do. So I'm not I'm not gonna go into COVID with Cam because I could. It's very unfortunate, but I'm just gonna say I will still say Bill Belichick means more to the Patriots than Tom Brady. We've seen Drew Brees, a Hall of Famer. We've seen Aaron Rodgers, a Hall of Famer. We've seen Joe Fluco win one crazy stank Super Bowl. Um, but at the end of the day, right? Drew Brees has won. Aaron Rodgers has won. Peyton Manning had won until he went to Denver. So you can talk about all these great quarterbacks. Dan Marino has zero. The great quarterback doesn't win the game. It's the coaching because the coach has to put the players around and put them in the right spots to win. Now, that kind of goes into the second part of the question, Dante. And when you talk about who means more, um, for box office, the star player, whoever the star player is, means more. 100%. For what we're talking about, as far as overall, I'm going to always go coach. I'm going to always go coach. Because what people don't see, I guess, are the dark days. And Dante, I know you coach. Um, Kids see you come up with a scheme, right? Or should I say, you tell them what the scheme is. You show them what the scheme. But they didn't see how many hours you sat in that film room to try to dissect to figure out how that play is going to work, how that blitz is going to form, um, why you're putting them in those positions. And I think the work of a coach goes, I guess, kind of like under the radar, disrespected. Think about the money a coach makes. Now, a player's got to play, and a coach has to coach. So many coaches get fired for the wrong reasons. I can't make that pass for Tom Brady. I can't make that pass for Joe Fluco. And yes, he's a fluke. I can't make that play for Carson Wentz. I can't make that block for any lineman. What I can do is draw up a solid scheme, but what I think a lot of outsiders do is they get caught up in it's not working or it doesn't look like it's working. So therefore, it's the coach's fault. And we don't put enough emphasis on the player. So coach means more, and Bill Belichick means more. Faye, I turn it to you, my fellow Patriots fan, or I'm sorry, my fellow Cam Newton Patriots fan.
Oh, whatever. I'm not a Patriots fan. Yes, Cam Newton fan. So, anywho, who I feel is important overall, I'll say is coach. So I'll kind of start on that route. And the reason that I say coach is like when you allude to Peyton Manning with Denver, or we could talk about Aaron Rodgers. So Peyton Manning in Denver, that year they won the Super Bowl. Peyton was not Peyton at all. But that defense was amazing. Peyton just had to not screw up at all. And the defense took care of the rest. Uh, Freaking, who was it back in 2000 with the Ravens? Uh, Trent
Trent
Dilfer,
Dilfer.
right? Just didn't have to screw it up. Ray Lewis in the defense took care of the rest. So to me, that alludes to coaching. Now, what I feel and are with Aaron Rodgers, where what's the stat? He's when he had Cowboys coach as his coach or whatever, Mike
Mike
McCarthy,
McCarthy.
Rodgers in the playoffs is putting up 34, 35 points on any given day. That's a win, and you going on, but not in the playoffs. He's at getting outscored 38-40. That's coaching. Rodgers, he's not playing corner. So I think that alludes to coaching. Now, what I think Brady did is a good player like Brady, Peyton in their heyday, they will cover a lot for you. They will, where you have shortcomings, where you can say, okay, maybe I don't have to go out and get the top notch receivers, and I don't have to go get because I have a quarterback who knows this system well and can make things work. So that's what Brady did for 20 years. He was that good to make things work and fit. And now they don't have that. You saw Brady is a good quarterback. You saw what he did when he got a upper echelon receiver in Randy Moss. He took imagine if he had a Randy Moss or whoever similar for 20 years. He probably would have broken every single record you could think because they broke a bunch of records just in one season, that one season or whatever, together.
Yep.
So that's what I think a great player can do for you is they can hide your deficiencies. That's what I wanted to say. They could hide your deficiencies to where maybe I don't have to focus on that. You know, like even like in basketball, there's 5 players on the court, but maybe you can have a LeBron James, a good player like that, and a decent player, and still win a lot of games and potentially win championships because you have a upper echelon superstar. So I think Brady overall made Belichick's job just easier because he didn't have to worry necessarily about offense.
And Fabe, if I can, not to go over, but if I can just join in, like look at Tom Brady, look at Ben Roethlisberger. Uh, I'm trying to think of who else that Peyton Manning even. When Peyton Manning didn't have a defense,
Yep.
he struggled. Um, and what I think people fail to realize is, and Dante, you know this. Listen, if if your defense is balling and you got full trust in your defense, as an offense, you can feel like you can do anything. You can feel like you can do anything. If I
Yeah,
turn the ball over, if I make a mistake, I know my defense
Yep.
got my back. Where Peyton Manning for the longest time had to press because he knew if I don't score, we're
Yep.
not going to win because our defense just was not that good. Ben Roethlisberger came in the league and the defense was the star. Tom Brady came in and the
Yep.
defense was the star. And this is where I say coaching is better. Do you think Tom Brady would be Tom Brady if Tom Brady came in today where everybody's about win now, win now, win now, win now, instead of, hey, listen, let's build on you, instead of, because they'd have called him a game manager, and then somebody came in and be like, oh, this dude has more arm talent. Well, you're right. But he was building Tom Brady
Yeah.
at that time. See, Peyton Manning came in ready for the league, right? That doesn't happen all the time. Ben Roethlisberger came in and wasn't ready for the league. He was ready to play and be a game manager, but they allowed him to build himself. And I think that is a difference between those good coaches to great coaches. The reason why Nick Saban is so good is because he mentors those guys. So when they get ready to leave his program, they're at prime to be ready to come into the NFL. That's why so many Alabama guys come in. Not saying that there's not other talent elsewhere. Same thing with Clemson now. Um, but it's coaching. Real quick, Dante, and I'll let it go to you. Deshaun Watson, the same offense he ran in high school, they brought it to Clemson when he got there. The same offense that he ran in high school in Clemson, the Texans adopted that when he came in there. Why do you think Deshaun Watson has so much success? He's running the same type of offense. Some things are different that he ran in high school. That's familiar. That's putting your quarterback in an excellent position
Mm-hmm.
to play at a high level. Go ahead, Dante.
Nah, man, you guys made some great points. I'm gonna
What?
start off by this though. Jarrell, you said that you mentioned that they were scrapped. Um, I'm just so happy that the Patriots are not on the Bucks schedule because they would get hit with that strap. But anyways, this is the problem. All right. So before I go into my answer, this is the problem. Bill Belichick gets paid $12 million a year.
Not
I
enough.
believe that is the highest salary for a head coach in the NFL. However, however, he has players on his team that he wants them to give them the
Coaches
hometown
don't have
discount.
salary cap. That ain't that ain't going
I
against my
got
Yep.
salary cap. I'm sorry.
I got it. I got it. But this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. I don't like the fact, and it's the problem that I have with the Steelers. I don't like the fact that you want to be good, and people want to say, "Oh well, Brady didn't have this talent and this and that." Listen, Bill Belichick knew what they had on the off, what they had coming in. He knew what was on their roster. Just like the years that they had freaking what's his name? Troy Brown playing offense and defense. How the heck you playing corner and receiver and you making $122,000 a year? Come here, I'm about to punch you. Come on now. But that's how they roll there. And so Tom Brady got fed up with it. Tom Brady's like, listen, I'm the best quarterback in the league. I don't think he was at the time, but he was in top five. I'm the best quarterback in the league. I won all these rings, and y'all don't want to pay me. You want me to take less money? Come on now. They should have took care of their players. They could have had some they could have paid more people or paid people higher wage to come and play for them, and therefore Tom Brady probably still would be playing there. However, when you playing with your practice squad teammates because you don't want to pay nobody to come run routes, and you get like, we'll just plug anybody in there. Oh, you bagging groceries at Publix? Come on, come run some routes with Tom Brady. Tom Brady to go. Tom Brady got tired of that. So guess what? Tom Brady left. Now to get back to the question. So did Tom Brady mean more to the Patriots than Belichick, or who meant more? I think for the Patriots, I think that Tom Brady meant more. And the reason why I say that is, if I recall, um, they didn't win no Super Bowls with Bledsoe. They didn't win no Super Bowls until Tom Brady became the quarterback, the starting quarterback. They didn't win none. So now he's gone, and look how it's looking. It's the Patriots are looking like the Browns when Belichick took over those 4 years and he was the head coach of the Browns. Miserable, horrible. That's what they look like. How do you go from dominating and all you did was took out one person? And yes, Jarrell, I agree. Okay, yeah, they definitely missing some people because of Corona. However, this is the same team that you had a receiver playing corner and tackling people, and he's just plugging people in here and there, plugging people in. Oh, he hurt. Oh, plug him in, plug him in, plug. So he was just plugging people in, and they were still winning. So right now, it has nothing to do with how great Belichick is. I think this is just showing you how great of a football player Tom Brady has been. And like you said, Faith, it covered up a whole wilditude of sins up in New England. And guess what? Brady out of there, and now you starting to see. oh my gosh, but this look like some Swiss cheese because there's holes everywhere,
I
and
I,
that's
I
just
can
what it
agree
looks.
with you. I I agree with you 110% when you say Brady covered up for a lot of their offensive deficiencies. I will not allow myself to go with the notion that Tom Brady didn't have good players. Tom Brady had players that fit what Tom Brady needed them to fit. Um, Tom Brady didn't need a superstar. Tom Brady needed players. But at the end of the day, Dante Hightower, who is their quarterback on defense, is gone. Patrick Chung is gone. I think they're missing too many quality pieces. Um, I mean, Bill Belichick had Vrabel, and Vrabel was playing both sides of the ball. Even caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Um, eh, eh,
That's my point exactly. So he has always been understaffed, undermanned, having to ask people to do multiple things. And so what has changed this year? The only thing that has changed is Brady's not there. That's the only thing that's changed because he's always been having to plug people here and there. Oh, I need a safety. Okay, you go play that. My safety go play linebacker. My linebacker go play tight end. Hey, you what you play receiver? Okay, go play running back. He always. I mean, I think he had Patterson right that played for the Bears. He played on the team
yeah,
and he's playing. That was when he first started playing running back, and
But I
he was a
mean, the
receiver.
Brady's, like
Remember,
Brady's, Rogers, those are generational type players. Like you can't plug and play, man. That's they're generational type
no.
players.
exactly. And
Now,
so when it comes to the Patriots, he is he's going to be missed more than Belichick. Now, when it comes to overall coaches, coaches mean more.
yeah, yeah. D- don't underestimate this, Dante. And I think everybody has said it. 2-0, 20 years, 20 years on a team. Cam Newton came in 2 weeks before the
Yeah,
season. 20 years in system. Bill Belichick understood for 20 years. So that trust was there. And I'm not going to say which again, you can say goes to the quarterback, but I'll put it to the coach. When you are married to a person just like you and Joe are married, the more you're married, the more you get to know about her. Ins and outs, fate, same thing with you and your wife can. You get to know them more. You go out with somebody new, you hang out with one of your buddies that you haven't seen in forever, you might be like, oh man, I didn't realize that, you act like this. I didn't realize that you do this. So I think there's a difference in they were married for 20 years and he knew what he was getting on that offensive side of the ball when it came to Tom Brady. So he could focus strictly on defense because he knew what he was getting. And then now we look at it, and I listen. I love Cam, and I'm not saying you know Cam's not going to finish this season nice, but he's making some mistakes that I think Tom Brady doesn't make, and Bill Belichick knows that. On top of Bill Belichick is struggling on defense to replace some of those guys, but he also has to spend time trying to get Cam right, and that offense right. But Dante, I think you're spot on because and Fabe, I think you said it just a second ago. He's generational. Tom Brady's generational. That don't come around every day. Um, that type of work ethic does not come around every day. I'm not going to say talent. I'm going to say work ethic because I think Tom Brady is. I listen. I'm gonna say it. Tom Brady is not the best quarterback when it comes to arm, all that. But from the neck up, the determination and hard work, you ain't gonna beat him.
yeah, because he
You ain't
loves
gonna
the
beat him.
game. Like he
Yep.
absolutely loves it.
This is what I would say. So you said coaching. You said Cam Newton came in 2 weeks before the season. That's on coaching, baby. You knew Tom Brady wasn't coming. You knew it. You knew it. But you was trying to be arrogant and you was gonna think you was gonna do it with that other dude that was sitting in the back. So that's coaching. You knew people wasn't gonna be showing up on the defense. And you ain't trying to go make no trades to make that
I
happen.
mean,
That's
They ain't
he
got
coaching.
no
got rid of
money.
who he
They ain't got
wanted. I
no money.
mean, do you think we'd be having this conversation if he had Jimmy G?
Nope. Nope.
Hey, but okay, but the thing is, y'all made the decisions. Y'all did
He
what
was
y'all did,
forced.
and just like any other football organization, we can look at the Browns. You know what? Hey, you knew what you was doing. You made a decision. You got to go and try to. But guess what? They don't do nothing in the
Tom
draft. They
Brady
could
made it. Tom
in
Brady
the,
made the
listen
decision.
in the draft. They could have did something.
They
They could have
couldn't.
did. Why they couldn't?
Did you see what happened to Jimmy G? They got Jimmy G, and your boy Tom Brady was getting a little tight in his booty cheeks. So he go up to the owner like, "Nah, man, something got to happen." So basically, it was like, "Hey, Bill Belichick, you can get fired, or you can trade Jimmy G." So what are you gonna do? I'm gonna
Hey,
trade Jimmy G.
so you making my point exactly. If the owner came up to him and said, "Listen, you either go make a trade or you go get fired," that show you exactly who was the man and who is going to be missed the most out of the Patriots organization. Tom Brady.
10-4, sir.
Yo, it's
All
on
right,
you,
guys.
Fade.
So we gonna get to this
Yeah.
last segment here of deep thoughts, where you guys put your questions, comments in chat, and we will give you our feedback. So we got an interesting one from JT that I would like to dive into. So JT says Andy Reid didn't get a champ till KC, right? And he had a lot of time to build teams in Philly, but you still need superstars on the team in some position. What do you guys think about that?
Ooh. Well, I, when when Andy Reid had talent, they lacked the ability to close. Um, and I think that that was on players. Andy Reid couldn't repair the relationship of a TO and Donovan McNabb. That's not something he could do. But again, as I say, Andy Reid can call all the best plays. But if Westbrook back in the day, and all those cats, if they didn't make the right catch, they didn't, they booty holes got a little tight. Now, don't get me wrong, Andy Reid is terrible with clock management, but I'm not going to blame all the losses on Andy Reid. But I will say he was a contributing factor, like everybody else. But again, when you get those transcendent talents, which Patrick Mahomes is a transcendent talent. I, it's very hard to screw that up. It is very hard to screw that up because that does not come around often.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say to it too, JT. Like, Donovan was good. I won't say he was a bad
Yeah.
quarterback. He was good, but he couldn't close. He couldn't get you to the next level. He just
Uh-huh.
couldn't do it. And Pat Mahomes, yeah, it's he is amazing. And what's crazy about him to me is like he has some sneaky speed. Like he's not super fast, but man, he can get through there. So I think you combine Andy Reid's good ability with play calling, running offense. Now you put if you probably had Donovan McNabb at the level of Pat Mahomes, oh, Andy Reid would have gotten one way beforehand. Way beforehand. Or what do you think if freaking Andy Reid had Michael Vick out the gate, right? Instead
Oof.
of later in his career,
Curtains.
but you have Michael Vick coming out of the draft to Andy Reid.
It'd have been bad. It'd have been real bad.
Um, my thoughts. So Donovan Nab, he was really good. I think around that time he was definitely, if not top five, top 10 quarterback,
Yep, I
easily.
agree.
Um, like he had a nice arm. Same thing. He wasn't super fast, but he was definitely mobile enough at that time to be able to get out and shrug off. He was like almost like a Big Ben, but a little bit faster. And I used to see him all the time because I'm a Bucks fan, so we always had to play them, especially when it got closer to like the playoffs and stuff or whatever. But they went against the Patriots, and Tom Brady put that thing on them boys. But they could have won that game, and they probably should have won that game. And I think you said it, Jarrell. They just the relationship between him and To was just so fractured that you could not put the pieces together. And if you did, you still would have been missing a couple pieces, and it just wasn't. It wouldn't get back together. It was like Humpty Dumpty. It fell, and you just couldn't get it back together again. And if I think that if they would have been on the same page, um, if To probably would have been a little bit more understanding, I guess maybe. But then again, that's kind of tough too because you do want your quarterback to be that man and that person that's gonna go and get it. And it kind of seemed like from the outside looking in, Donovan wasn't like that. He wasn't like To. Um, but at the same time, you don't always have quarterbacks that's like that. But I think if they would have been on the same page, I think they probably beat Tom Brady and the Patriots that
Yeah.
year, because To went off on that game. Um, and I'm sure if the defense would have made a couple more plays, they probably would have. But yeah, Andy Reid, he is a good coach. I'm so happy that he did win a couple last year because he definitely deserved it. All the hard work he put in, and to get there with the Eagles and basically not be able to get over the hump that got for hurt. So um, they might do it again if they don't have to see the Bucks.
I would like to see a Pat Mahomes Brady showdown.
I would too. Yep.
Hey, stay tuned. It's coming soon.
All right, fellas. Any last words?
Oh yes, Joe Frazier. Yes, he did pass in 2011. So just to bring clarity to that because I wasn't sure, but yes, he did pass it in 2011.
Yeah. Hey. I mean, I'm feeling the new format, fellas. So, I'm excited for next week. I think I listen. Let's see how this week shake out. I think we got some good stuff coming. So we gonna keep hitting y'all hot and heavy. We definitely appreciate, like I said, all you guys that tuned in live, and anybody that's gonna take a gander at this once it's up on YouTube, man. We appreciate all the love. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and that bell, please. That way you guys get notified whenever we come on live. Again, we appreciate the support. We're here to have fun with y'all, and just give, like I said, some unfiltered, good quality conversation, and maybe a little bit of argument. I think Dante, I think you're going gray, man. That 9 years of marriage, man, you going gray. Woo, dang, you old boy. Anyway, we holla at y'all, man. Faye, go ahead
All
and
right,
take us on
everybody.
out.
Thank you guys again for tuning in to the 14th episode of the Deep Third Podcast. We will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Jarrell, you the same age